Good Tuesday afternoon.
Indeed.
This is Pod Bros,
A production of Sound Bros Productions.
I'm Luke.
And I am not Luke.
You ruined it. I had this whole upbeat thing going. And you went monotone.
It wasn't really monotone. This is more monotone. I'm so excited about this.
Do I sound excited to you?
Don't I sound so excited to you guys? This is the most amazing thing ever.
All right. Well, hey.
This is the most amazing thing ever?
Ever? With an upward inflection at the end of it, as if I'm asking a question.
What exciting things do you have for us today?
You know what I noticed, because we were listening, to the podcast, listening to our own podcast.
For quality control.
For quality control, in the last couple of days. And we were over our friend Dave Fink's house, in his gun shop.
Indeed.
And
making a gun.
Working on a gun. And, because this is Merca.
Technically, you could say we were making a gun.
We actually were making a gun, and we were customizing a gun for another friend of ours, because that's what we do.
Who's a veteran.
And so
an active veteran.
An active veteran, yeah. So we that, of course, brings up the thank you to all of our first responders and veterans, and a Merry Christmas to all of those who are not going to be home for Christmas.
You know who never gets thanked?
Who?
The second responders.
Wait, what exactly is a second responder?
The guys who have to clean up the crap on the road.
Ooh, yeah.
Like the dead bodies. Or the guys who have to pick up...
Or the oil.
The damaged bodies.
Or like you're talking like the coroner and...
all those people, and then the guys who have to come and take care of the cars.
The guys that have to drive the stuff, and the tow trucks.
And the tow trucks and everything, and the helicopter operators.
So, of course, we always thank the first responders, but as Nick just rightly reminded us, we should also thank the second responders.
We should. I mean,
so to everyone who ends up having to work a bummer day in a second response situation, the cleanup crew, the ADOT guy, the tow truck driver, the coroner truck driver, and actually, you know what? On a side note, we appreciate you guys as well. But on that side note, I had a friend that used to drive for the coroner, and you think it's not that big of a deal? It's pretty heavy. They got to deal with some stuff, and they see some stuff, and we're not going to go into it, but it's dark. But anyway. So thank you to all you guys. It's coming up on Christmas. The ricochet back.
It
you
is put up two pieces of foam, and then you're like, all right, let's do it.
We could put up more. We also closed the door, so it's not echoing out the door now. It's ricocheting back.
It's just ricocheting into the room.
We're slowly getting our studios put together here, and trying to make it so that it doesn't get all that.
It might not actually be as echoey as we think it is when we're done. It's just really echoey right now.
Well, we both have an ear uncovered in the room.
Well, that echo from the room is definitely being picked up. But anyway.
Well, and I mean, look at this gorgeous. I mean, it's pretty.
It is.
It's pretty.
It looks way better than your.
We're gonna post a picture of this microphone that we've got.
Than your 70s pimp.
It's because it came green. I didn't design this.
Green and gold.
So we're purple and gold.
With your red fro and your sideburns and your mustache.
I don't have a red fro.
And
I have an upside down red fro.
And your aviator glasses.
And I don't have aviators.
Your convertible.
Where are you getting this from? This is all a lie. None of it is true.
Well, that was the way it was. Now that you've painted it, it looks nice.
Oh, all of those things went along with the drab green
and the gold together.
And the gold
now with
together.
the gold and the purple, it's like, oh, look at me, I'm a classy guy doing a podcast.
and the classy podcast.
Yeah,
here.
you know.
Hey, welcome to Pod Bros. We're the classy podcast here. We're coming at you from Toid. We got some pizza here, and we're drinking some tonic water. And we got some heartwarming stories for you and some happy stories for you. So sit back, relax, have a cup of cognac or not if you don't partake of the strong stuff. Light up a cigar and enjoy the conversation, eh?
Anyway.
That was actually fun. I enjoyed that. We should do a whole show like that.
Okay. Not this one, though.
Not this one. That was a tease. It was a
taste.
It was a tidbit. So, what do you got?
Oh, we're going to start with me? Okay.
Well, we could start with it. Well, you know what, I was back to what we were talking about when we originally start the show.
Yeah, sorry.
I normally, I've heard myself now say, the weather outside, it's just gorgeous. I don't normally sound like that. I normally sound like,
he does.
Boy, the weather outside today is gorgeous, isn't it?
Gorgeous.
It's pretty. But it's been so beautiful outside that I'm just
outside.
Like, dear God, the weather is gorgeous. It's just fabulous.
Have you guys been outside lately? It's so nice outside. I was outside beautiful. all day today. Oh my God.
And I got sunburn and it was beautiful.
Anyway.
No? Actually, where we are,
the weather was nice today.
There are no trees.
The weather was nice today.
The weather is nice today.
It's kind of cold though,
Yeah,
because all the clouds went away.
Yeah.
And as with things that happened that way, the clouds hold in the warmth, and as soon as the clouds went away, all the warmth went away with it. And today was pretty darn cold. Is pretty darn cold, I should say. It's gotten warmer now. It's near the end of the day, warmest part of the day, about 2 or 3 in the afternoon. Anyway.
Well,
should I just do the weather and get it over with?
We could, or we could just do other stuff. Actually, I'm currently enjoying the banter here. What's new in the world? Is there anything new in the world like that's popped up on the news? I mean, just fun new things, not anything, no whiny baby stuff. I went and saw a movie the other day.
Which movie did you go and see?
21 Bridges.
Oh yeah, I went with you with that.
Yeah, and it was really good. It was the actor is Chadwick Boseman. Is that how you say his last name?
Boseman, I don't know.
Chadwick Boseman is he's the actor who played in Black Panther. Man, that was a good movie. Both Black Panther and this one, 21 Bridges. They did a really, really good job just portraying a legitimate truth that we face in our world, and it was it was good, and they did it very well done.
I thought they did a good job of a lot of times when they have he's the seeker of truth,
Yeah.
He's the vanguard of justice.
The truth hound dog, right?
And a lot of times in movies they portray that character as they try to give him some ridiculous flaw.
Right.
And I think they did a good job of making him real.
Well, yeah, he had flaws, but he had human flaws.
Well, I mean, he was
what a detective police officer should be.
It is what it is, and this is what I got from the movie, and I think this is why we liked it so much. And I think it's from at least from what I've seen, it's getting a little bit lower than it's still above 5, but I think the last time I saw it was like 6.6 or something like that out of 10.
Oh, on the reviews,
lower reviews. But I think the reason it's getting that way, and this is what I was about to say, is that he's a guardian.
Well, he's legitimately a protector.
Our society used to be built of guardians, of defenders. I mean, our entire country, the foundation of our entire country was defenders, defending freedom, defending Lady Liberty.
Right.
The founding fathers refer to this Lady Liberty almost affectionately.
Yeah.
Where it's like
we have to protect her.
We have to protect her.
Yeah. Well, we live in a culture where they've eliminated the need for that, or the perceived need for a protector.
And what's funny is that in the movie, they try to pin on him because he's a cop who's had to put down some criminals.
He's had to fire in the line of duty.
And they try to, in the movie, the other people in the story try to make it like he's some terrible person because he had to do that. And throughout the entire movie, it's almost like he has been vindicated in all the situations because he did what had to be done. And that's the whole idea of defending liberty, defending freedom, is that you sometimes have to do what you have to do.
Yeah.
And it's not pretty and it's not nice and it's not something friendly that we like to talk about and see all the time, but it is the necessity of things. And it's part of the reason why we thank our first responders, and it's part of the reason why we thank the military, and it's part of the reason why we hold them accountable.
Absolutely.
Because
absolutely,
all of those things go into defending liberty, defending freedom. It is both our
well, you know what?
privilege and right.
Yeah.
And we thank those people because they protect our privileges and rights, but we also keep them accountable because very quickly you can move from the side of protecting liberty and freedom to the side of repressing liberty and freedom.
Right.
And that's what I think I liked so much about this movie was
well,
that
I mean, I'm not going to ruin it, but I am going to quote from the movie. There is a line he says in the movie. And the one guy says, well, it's always been. And he responded to him and he said, yes, but the blood cannot be on the badge.
Yep. And that's what I'm saying.
And that is that sums up the statement of, we live in a culture nowadays where you have, who's going to watch the watchers and the police are out of control and this, that, and the other thing. And I think because the part of that is missing is that there is a misunderstanding that being a police officer, being a peace officer, a border patrol, a sheriff, any of these that are sworn to protect, right? To serve and protect, which is the statement. They've lost in some cases. They have lost the honor that goes with that. The fact that you're not just another person in the society that just threw on a badge and is out working. You're set apart. You're different, and that same thing is lost in Christianity as well. How many times have you heard, oh, well, I know some Christians and they're just hypocrites, right?
Or I know some pastor and he's a jerk.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, and then you get those people that are like, oh, well, they're human too, and we just discount their, no. You are meant to be set apart from, when you choose certain professions, when you choose to align with certain things, you are set apart and you have to live that way. That is what makes you different. That is what makes you, in some cases, better. Right?
In medieval times, they called it chivalry.
Correct. And honor.
A knight was knighted by a lord or a king or the bishop or something like that, or one of the cardinals or something, because that happened a lot. But they were held to the chivalrous code of a knight. And when a knight acted outside of that, it was something that was offensive. And all you have to do is read books like Robin Hood and Ivanhoe.
Yes.
And you see where it's like, these guys, this guy who was, who was that? Sir Walter Scott?
Yes.
Who wrote those books. He was trying to capture something that was being lost, and he was trying to show, this is what happens when you have these guys who are, they've taken these vows as a knight, they've taken these vows as, whatever, and yet they live their lives not to that code, not to that, to that honor. And I feel like in a certain extent, swearing to protect and defend the Constitution,
right,
is like our modern day version of the chivalrous code of honor. The Constitution, prefaced by the Declaration of Independence, of course, prefaced by the Mayflower Compact, the Virginia Charter, the Magna Carta, and ultimately by the Bible,
Right.
is our modern, because the United States is a modern country, the first modern country. I would dare argue that the United States is the first modern country, and this is our code of honor, and it's the reason why people in public offices, why when people are sworn in to office, they swear in on the Bible, or they swear in on the Constitution, or they swear in on a religious article. Because this is becoming more common, because it's not just the Bible, and I have my personal views about this. I think it should be the Bible because the Constitution is based on the Bible, but nevertheless, the point is still the same. You're still being held accountable to something higher than the Constitution,
Right.
and that's something that I think a lot of people miss.
A moral code.
That's what
that
I'm
is
saying.
higher than the
I think that's
Constitution.
something that a lot of people miss, is that you are swearing to a either a religious or a moral higher power, and traditionally you're swearing to the Judeo-Christian God of the Bible, Jesus Christ, that you are going to uphold and defend liberty. You're going to uphold and defend freedom. You're going to uphold and defend the tenets of the Constitution, the tenets of the Declaration of Independence, to your last breath, from all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Right.
And they put those in there. They put those statements in there, foreign and domestic, because they knew that liberty was going to attempt to be infringed upon on an external level and on an internal level.
Right.
And with the Declaration of Independence, you read it, it's not just for us, it's for everyone.
Yeah.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
All
of them.
underline all.
It's not just us, it's everybody.
And to the social justice warriors out there, men includes women. It's to all men.
Yeah.
Men is an overarching term. So
And anyone who would argue that women didn't have voting rights when the Constitution was formed, recheck your history, because it wasn't until individual states started specifically identifying who could vote, there were women landowners who could vote in certain states.
correct, and it was not an issue.
No, it wasn't.
It was not an issue.
Nope.
So that is our short history lesson for today, and a good one, I think. Good subjects.
All right.
So what do you got? Because I got a heart warmer.
Oh, okay.
Can I do a heart warmer?
Do a heart warmer.
All right.
I got something funny.
November 4th, 2019. This dog refused to leave a woman's lawn. As it turns out, he remembered her. Sometimes fate steps in when you need a good dog encounter. I love animal stories, if anyone hasn't figured that out yet. This is what happened to Kate Howard, who was sitting outside one afternoon after a memorial service when a brown pitty sat down on the grass in front of her and refused to leave. And he's so adorable. He's a little baby. The dog was cute. A brown pitty girl with white markings.
It is kind of cute.
Aw, my caterpillar never turned into a butterfly.
Continue, please.
Sorry. That's a Cheeto. Oh, thank you. Howard wrote on Twitter, all dogs are perfect, but she was particularly charming. Her owner was trying to get her rolling again, but she was staying put. She called her Winnie. Come on. So I guess her name was Winnie. This immediately registered because last November,
The poo?
I fostered a dog for the first time over Thanksgiving. She was a soft, wiggly baby puppy I named Winnie. I cried for 3 days after she was spayed and went up for adoption, worried about whether or not she had found a good home. I asked the woman whether she adopted Winnie with that name. She said yes, as she didn't want to change her name and confuse her. I asked her when. She said last November. By then, I was practically leaping off the porch, screaming, I fostered this dog! I told her I was so worried on whether or not she had found a good home that I asked the shelter to put her name in her file in case she was ever brought back. An unfortunate but not uncommon outcome. Oh no, she said, I would never bring her back. She is a great, well-behaved pup. It turns out Winnie's mom had recently lost a dog. When they saw Winnie's precious face on the animal shelter website, she got the adoption site early, intent on making sure she was first in line to adopt her when she became available. Now, I just moved back into this house a couple months ago, and it turns out the house is a block from Winnie. And I would have been at work, not on the porch this afternoon, if not for traveling from the memorial service for my friend. who was a tremendous lover of dogs. So it was beyond comforting for our first foster dog to turn up on my front lawn. And she was all super happy and loved her. So, yay!
Yeah,
heartwarming. Wait for it.
Aww, that's so nice.
So sweet. Okay, your turn.
All right, so
Before I go on more dog stories, good lord, I have 100 of them.
So, as it very commonly happens, and we've actually encountered this a couple times with reading stuff on the internet, is that there seems to be a severe lack of editors that edit printed material.
Oh yeah, are you reading headlines?
So I have a list of headlines.
Oh
here
dear goodness,
that are someone was definitely not thinking before they did it, or someone like me was writing the headline and was like, let's see,
this is going to be hysterical.
So the first one, of course, in keeping with weather, forecasters call for weather on Monday.
But only on Monday, not on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. There will be weather on Monday. These people don't know how to... Okay, continue.
Amphibious pitcher makes debut.
So, there's a pitcher who... so can I... I'm going to just tell a quick synopsis of the story based on the top.
Sure.
Okay, so...
Go ahead.
And that's how we'll do this, right? Because obviously these are real stories with blundered headlines, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but I'm going to make up a story that goes along with it. I think that's a good segment. Yes. So, read the headline again.
Amphibious pitcher makes debut.
Okay. So there's a new sport, and it's baseball, but it's mixed with water polo.
Okay. Nice.
And so they have a new pitcher, and he actually can play on. He's not. So half the team's on the field and half the team's in the water playing the polo, but the pitcher is actually amphibious, so he plays both.
Oh, okay.
So he does the water polo and the baseball.
He's like Aquaman.
He's like Aquaman.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's got superpowers.
Cows lose their jobs as milk prices drop.
Okay, so there was a group of cows that were they were actually in their tenure as milk producers, but unfortunately, due to the increase in almond drink, because we can't call it milk anymore, due to the increase, there was actually layoffs, and because of the layoffs, they had to fire their most tenured cows that were actually making the most money, and so it was an utter disaster.
However, it was not utter destruction.
Ah, yes, because they
actually
opened the gate for them.
They actually got a job. They started an advertising firm. And their advertising firm actually got bought out by a major company.
Okay.
And it turns out that these cows that were laid off because of their milk actually are the reason why Chick-fil-A is so successful. Because they sold their advertising firm to Chick-fil-A.
To Chick-fil-A. And so those cows that you see on the billboards are these cows that got laid off for milk production. So it's all true, 100%. Okay.
Miracle cure kills fifth patient.
I got nothing.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like awkward.
Oh, that's brutal.
Man,
so miracle cure kills fifth patient?
Yep. Maybe.
How would you like to be that fifth patient?
How would you like to be the sixth patient? That's like,
yes.
Hey, we've got this new cure.
The sixth patient, yes.
It's killed 5 people already.
I thought it only killed the fifth one.
No, kills fifth patient.
Oh, so it's killed 5 people. Well, it is a cure. I mean, you're not going to feel it anymore. I mean, here's the morbid humor in me, but
I guess
the pain is gone.
I don't know why you would call it a miracle cure unless you're some terrible morbid person.
Well, it's miraculous if you can get away with it.
As a headline, ugh. Man accused of killing lawyer receives new attorney.
Okay, so
You don't even need to explain this one. It's just funny.
Death of a lawyer. Oh no, that's death of a salesman. Sorry, wrong movie.
So, state population to double by 2040. Babies to blame.
When a mommy daddy loves
When a mommy daddy
This
is
when
just
a mommy
weird. Don't
and a
even
daddy
just
love each other.
This next one is my favorite.
Okay, all right.
Mississippi literacy program shows improvement. Mississippi is spelled Missippi.
Wait, what?
Mississippi is spelled incorrectly, and the Mississippi literacy program shows.
Oh, these people. I wonder if they get paid to do this on purpose.
So it turns out that breathing oxygen is linked directly to staying alive.
No.
True story.
No, I don't believe that. I actually don't believe that. I believe that you can lock yourself in a methane chamber and survive.
Oh, that stinks.
That's pretty crappy.
So it also would be really cold.
It would be.
Methane is frigid.
If you guys haven't guessed by now, those of you that listen to our show here, we like to recycle old jokes. Oh, I have a story to tell.
But not yet, because the police just did one of the biggest busts earlier this year in history ever. The biggest ever. Police arrested everyone on February 22nd.
Police arrest everyone on February 22nd.
That's what it says.
Police arrest everyone on February 22nd. That is fantastic.
Oh, also, just a heads up for everyone, later on this week, Thursday is canceled. That was one of the headlines.
Thursday is canceled.
Yep, see? Thursday is canceled.
Go home Thursday. You don't get to work today, this week. That's 2 days from now.
Also,
I'm looking forward to Thursday.
Also, I think I know the reason why. It's because all of the bridges will be closed date Thursday or October.
Thursday or October.
Yep.
So it may be closed on Thursday, but it may also be closed October, which is almost a year away.
Well, what's funny is that this article actually it drew a lot of criticism.
Okay.
It just did. The state's detour plans drew criticism. I can't imagine why, but they did.
Why are we driving 75 miles out of the way?
Because Thursday is canceled.
Because Thursday's canceled.
Or October. So, also, interestingly enough, most earthquake damage is caused by shaking.
I thought it was caused by fire.
Actually, a lot of earthquake damage is caused by fire.
Well, it's because they shake the things loose and it starts a fire.
Or because there's separation that happens, depending on what kind of earthquake it is.
Separation is never fun. It's always painful.
Is there seepage involved?
A little bit.
Depending on where the
separation is.
Depending on where the separation is.
Slow seepage. Usually in an earthquake, it's moist seepage.
Yeah, that's true. Because there's a lot of moisture underneath the surface.
Yeah, so there's a lot. It's moist. Very, very moist.
And if there's an earthquake and there's separation near a septic plant,
then there's moist fecal seepage. I don't know where to go with this one.
So
this is a family show. We might need to realize.
Federal agents raid gun shop, find weapons.
Well, that's the Fed for you. I don't have anything to say to that other than, duh. I mean, I was expecting nothing less here.
These headlines are so brilliant. Safety meeting ends in accident.
All right, guys, we've gone 37 minutes without an accident. Let's try it again.
There's a muddy creek problem. It's too muddy.
Oh, that's a bummer. When the creeks are overly muddy, it's an issue. Because then that moves the mud downstream. And there's all that sediment and it just piles up and it gets, and then it's dammed and, I don't know where I'm going with this. Can you read something, please? rambling over.
Murderer says detective ruined his reputation. A convicted murderer has sued the detective who arrested him, saying the investigator ruined his good name in comments published in the New York Times.
His good name.
Well, apparently...
You're a murderer, but you have a good name.
There are murderers that have good names.
What was his name? Bob? Steve?
I guess. Well,
Bruce?
let's take this moment to talk about the bottom of the hour.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the bottom of the hour.
So the bottom of the hour is this period of time where we talk about our show again. And, and there's music that plays, and we talk about what programs we're on. Anyway, do you want to do the bottom of the hour now?
Yeah, bottom of the hour. So this Pod Bros Productions.
This is Pod Bros Productions.
Is Pod Bros, a
production.
Sound Bros Productions production.
There you go. That was good.
So that's production squared.
We're on Podbean.
For the nerds that are listening.
We're on
Podbean, iTunes. Spotify is making me do stuff that I don't have set up apparently, so I have to fix it. So,
okay.
And Google Play is still not loading.
It's still elusive.
Still elusive. And then drop us a line if you want to hear us on YouTube. And we'll put it up on YouTube. I've gotten a couple of requests, but not that many, and so we'll see about going that direction. Also, if you are a local business in the area, and you're interested in having us plug you on the show, besides the ones that we already know and we'll talk about, give us a ring. Let us know. We'll work something out with you, and do that. Thank you, of course, to everyone who listens. Thank you to those who make comments and text us that are friends of ours privately and say, "Hey, what was this you were talking about?" and ask questions.
And for those of you who aren't listening, well, I guess it doesn't really matter anyway.
You don't got a moving partner? Get one.
Anyway,
sorry, we do just so that everybody knows the random of those is I'm quoting random movie quotes. So
or TV shows or inside jokes.
We do that.
We do a lot of inside jokes.
Yeah. We're inside and we tell jokes.
Yep.
Ta-da!
So it turns out that the Utah Prison Control Center it turns out that if you eat poison it's bad.
I'm so sorry.
The Utah Prison Control Center reminds everyone
poison
not to take poison.
The Poison Control Center?
Yep.
Is reminding people don't eat poison.
Yep.
Public service announcement from Pod Bros. Poison is poisonous.
So this next headline is a classic case of incorrect punctuation. Student cooks and serves grandparents.
Did they miss the comma?
Yep. They sure did.
Yes. Let's eat, Grandma.
And let's eat
Grandma. Punctuation saves lives. This is another public service announcement from Pod Bros.
Attorney accidentally sues himself.
Actually, that I don't think is a mistype. Because lawyers, they're strange folk. I'm sure there's something there.
Hospitals resort to hiring doctors.
Wow. Okay, that's funny. That is funny. Do you ever just get the feeling that you're being watched? No?
Museums full of history.
I'm not going to get an answer on the watched question.
Goats accused of robbery. I just wanted to read the last two.
Okay.
And yes, I feel like I'm being watched all the time. Because technically you are being watched.
By?
Your phone.
Oh.
My phone. The camera in your computer.
Boy, the things my phone has seen.
We're being listened to all the time. And, I've kind of got to the point where I don't really care.
All right, I got a Christmas story. Man shows up at apartment complex in a moving truck and hands out $12,000 worth of toys. A man donated $12,000 worth of toys to kids in need around neighborhoods in Harrisonburg, Virginia for Christmas.
That's cool.
Sarah Lewis Weeks, property manager of Harris Gardens Apartments, said last week a man came into her office asking if he could drop off hundreds of toys for kids in the community. Adam Armstrong showed up in the apartment's complex basketball court on Saturday afternoon with a 24-foot box truck filled with thousands of gifts. I just decided that I was going to rent a great big box truck and went out and got over 1,300 toys. We're just riding around to the less fortunate areas and passing them out, he said. I love it. Merry Christmas. That's fantastic. People are great sometimes.
That is fantastic. So there's a statistic that shows that teen pregnancies drop off significantly after the age of 25.
90% of all statistics are made up.
It's true.
But that one, I have a tendency to believe that one. You want to know why?
Why?
Because after 25,
you're not a teenager
you're not
anymore?
a teen anymore. I didn't know where I was going with it. I was gonna go somewhere, but
What I'm confused about is how a one-armed man applauds the kindness of strangers.
he applauds.
Yeah. Did you know that homicide victims rarely talk to police?
When they do, I wonder if this is a psych episode. Okay. Oh, that's adorable. Okay, you ready? Two best friends at a Pennsylvania retirement home are proving it's never too late to achieve their dreams. Alan Tripp, who is 102 years old, and Marvin Weisbord, who is 88 years old, recently released their first album together, Senior Songbook. The inspiration for the album came when Tripp wrote a poem shortly after he turned 100. The poem is about life, getting old, and losing friends, and it made Westburn want to sing. Westburn, who grew up playing the piano, decided to set it to music as a surprise gift for Tripp's 100th birthday. Listening to Westburn perform his words on the piano sparked an idea for the album. I spent my entire life wanting to become a songwriter, and at 102 I thought, why not finally do it? Over the course of 2 years, they spent several hours each week testing melodies and writing lyrics, and they would meet in the morning and sit at the grand piano in Westburn's apartment. Today is not a talking day for me, apparently. I'm also very tired. But that's none of, whatever. Anyway. The album released November 15th has a 1940s vibe with modern lyrics. The great music of the 40s, 50s, and 60s, but the words are looking ahead to the 2020s, Tripp said. Aw, and it's on here. Should we play it?
Without previewing it?
Okay, I'll preview it later. And then
We can
maybe
play it
we'll
tomorrow
play it later.
if it's good. So there's a city that's unsure why the sewers smell.
Poop. I
Did
just
you-
solved their problem.
Did you hear about that shooting that happened?
No?
Yeah, apparently there was a crazy shooting spree that happened in a morgue. 17 remain dead.
Oh, that's terrible. Let's have a moment of silence for those poor victims.
That were already dead.
I couldn't even say it with a straight face.
I know, right?
Oh my gosh. Oh.
Anyway.
So, I got a thing for dogs. I think it's because I miss my old dog. But I like dogs. And dog stories are pretty cool. So, there's this person who put together a soundboard.
Okay.
And she taught her blue heeler mix how to speak. Like, you know how you tell a dog speak?
Right.
Well, she taught her how to push the things with her paws
Oh, that's cool.
and actually talk. You're really far away. Just so you know that.
I'm not that much farther away than I was before. Oh, I guess I am. Wow. Gosh. Oh, well.
Okay, Nick's in the other room now, talking to us from a distance.
Hello?
Kind of like that one episode where I sounded like I was on the
Is
other side of the
anyone
room.
there? What's up?
Cool whip.
Cool whip.
Cool whip.
Is this better?
That is better, actually.
Here, let me do this.
How about you angle it? Like
Don't tell me what to do,
that? Don't tell me my business.
devil woman.
Yeah.
So anyway, continue your story about your dog.
That was it. that he learned how to speak and stuff.
That's cool. You know, I saw something. There's a video on from America's Got Talent where the guy's a ventriloquist, and he
Trains the dog to open his
he
mouth.
trains the
every time
dog
he
to open
talks.
his mouth every time he talks.
That's pretty cool.
That was a cool video. Anyway, let's talk about the weather real quick.
I thought we already did the weather.
No, we didn't talk about the weather.
Oh, we skipped the weather?
We actually talked about
About
the weather.
but
We
not
didn't
the
actually
actual
talk
weather.
about the weather.
I think that's better.
Well, it's good to talk about the weather.
We apologize for the low rumbling of our road. That will very soon be ended when we have an isolation room.
Yeah. Oh, an isolation room. That sounds fun.
Not one of those.
Is it like a room?
I'm gonna put you in a straitjacket.
It's like a 5x5 room, white walls, no windows.
See, that's the question.
Straitjacket.
Why is it always 5x5? Like if I was in a 5x5 room, I wouldn't even be able to lay down.
That's probably not a 5x5 room. I was just thinking of a really small room.
Okay, maybe a 6x6.
Yeah, or 6x6x6. Oh gosh,
That would
with
be terrible.
padding everywhere. Can't hear anything. No windows.
Can't jump.
Can't jump. Can't move around. You're just kind of stuck in there.
Just in a box.
In a straitjacket. You know.
That actually would be. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I would find that comforting to some degree. But I know people that are claustrophobic, so that would be a bummer for them. For me, I would just curl up into a little ball and go to sleep and get some much needed quiet sleep.
That is true.
You know, without having
Anyway,
the world humming,
let's talk about the weather real
humming
quick.
around you. I didn't want to talk about the weather.
So, it is clear right now.
No.
52 degrees. Tonight is going to have increasing clouds.
Ooh, wait, what?
This is weird. I've actually never seen this on the site before. It says increasing clouds, then on Wednesday it says decreasing clouds. My guess is that what we're getting is the tail end of that storm that hit us this last week. And we're just kind of getting like there's some clouds that are forming over us and then they're going to go away because there isn't enough moisture for them to precipitate. Right?
Huh.
So then it's just going to be mostly clear and sunny for the rest of the week into the weekend. And then there'll be a very slight chance of rain and snow on Sunday. Probably with 10% chance, it's probably not going to be anything at all. We probably won't even get anything. That's really small percentage. Saturday night, Sunday morning. But it's pretty much going to be mostly clear, so.
Yeah. That's awesome. We like clear. You know.
So that's the weather. So. Got anything else?
Oh, the weather outside is frightful.
The weather outside is not frightful. We live in Arizona. The weather outside is awesome.
Oh, the weather outside is awesome.
You know, that's something I've never understood about that song. Is snow frightful?
You know, I think at some point in the world, snow is probably frightful.
I mean, I know that there are places in like the Midwest and stuff like that where when it snows, it's like 7 or 8 feet and they just have snow for the rest of winter. You know?
All right, I got a story here, and this is kind of ridiculous. This is a little politics here to end the hour. No, I think you'll like it. Oklahoma City University student of law,
Okay.
School of Law student, expelled for a flyer.
Okay.
The flyer simply said, "It's okay to be white."
Dang. Wow.
So, the student poses no threat to the campus despite being expelled, said the police officers.
Well,
Oh, good grief.
nothing says paranoia and hatred like expelling someone for a flyer that they literally printed on their computer.
Right, yeah. Freedom of speech and all that. What?
What freedom of speech? What are you talking about?
We don't have freedom of speech.
See, this is what happens when we forget about what we talked about at the beginning of the podcast today,
Which is?
we forget about our duty. Because and let's since we're back on this subject again, we might as well talk about the rest of it. Is that we talked about at the beginning, we talked about the people that have sworn an oath, that have taken up the mantle of responsibility to become public defenders,
Right.
to become public servants, to become national defenders of our country. But the truth of the matter is, as American citizens, it's our duty, it's our sacred duty to protect and defend and preserve the United States, to protect and defend and preserve freedom and liberty and religious freedom. And I think that's one of the reasons why we get so offended by stories like that and other stories, because it's almost like it's an insult to us, because like we are defending all liberty, all
Yes.
freedom for everyone, regardless of their skin color, regardless of their gender, regardless of where they came from.
Well, and here's something that's interesting. So our podcast here is labeled as comedy, right? And we're not as funny as we would like to be. We have a lot of funny interactions during the day, usually when we're driving in the car, and we're trying to bring that to you guys and recapture that. But it's interesting to me that when there is actual racism, there is a lack of comedy or lightheartedness.
That's true.
Because it's so dark. But when there is no racism or limited racism, because we're not racist, I don't dislike anyone for the color of their skin or who they are.
And you know what? I don't have to qualify the fact that I'm white and I have a limited number of friends from different ethnic backgrounds. I don't have to qualify it by saying I have a black friend or an Asian friend. What if I don't have an Asian friend?
Yeah.
What if I don't have a black friend? What if I don't have a Mexican friend?
Yeah, what if I just want to make a joke?
What if I'm just being funny? Why do I have to qualify it? And just for your information, I do have many black friends and many Asian friends and many Mexican friends and many friends of multiple ethnic backgrounds.
Exactly.
And just because I'm making a joke about the culture they came from or the culture that they live in doesn't mean that I'm against them or that I want them to stop. I just find their culture funny. I find white culture hysterical.
White culture is the best. I mean, it is so ridiculously funny.
The best in that it's ridiculously funny is what you're saying, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, because I mean,
I've heard
white people. I think there's more things you can make fun of with white people's culture than any other culture because of how ridiculous white culture is. And how ridiculous white people talk. I mean, seriously, have you ever listened to a white person talk? Goodness gracious, especially people from Canada. Man. Either, you guys want some tacos?
Oh, no, David.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, what's that about?
A boot? Actually, I have a number of friends from Canada.
Eh?
I'm not qualifying. I legitimately have friends from Canada.
Yeah,
I just realized that.
You're qualifying.
As soon as you said it.
Qualifying making fun of white people.
Here's the other side of it is that, when we talk about, like, we did the little accent at the beginning of the show about the New Yorkers and whatnot. But it reminds me of the people that I know that are those people. Well,
actually,
when I tell Italian jokes, it reminds me of our family.
Yeah, and along with what you're saying, every time I make fun of something or use an accent like that, it typically reminds me of the fond memories of being with that person.
Yes, absolutely. And learning, how many of those jokes. I mean, I have lists of jokes on all spectrums. I know white jokes, Italian jokes, Mexican jokes, black jokes, Asian jokes. I mean, I can tell all those jokes.
Right.
And the best part of that is that most, if not all, of those jokes I heard from a person of that race.
Right.
And they were telling me the joke because we had a friendship and a camaraderie that was funny. And we could talk about stuff like that.
And they knew that we would find it funny.
And we wouldn't be offended.
I think this is the issue, is that people get offended in proxy of someone else. Most of the time, people of whatever race they are not actually offended. You make a white joke, I don't care. You make an Italian joke. Make an Italian joke.
Actually,
Italians are hysterical.
Honestly, please make Italian and white jokes.
Because
I want to hear them.
Of all of the groups, Italian people are like over the top ridiculous.
They really are. They really are. You ever been to an Italian lady's dinner? Good grief.
Yeah.
You will eat until you're dead.
They were chasing us out the door with cannolis.
With cannolis.
They wanted to kill me like they killed Timmy.
Bring that over here. You don't scare me. That is a tribute to one of our favorite since passed away comedians,
John Pinette.
Who's
French,
John Pinette.
by the way.
Who? Yeah, right. Of all comedians, is French. But see, that's what I mean. Like you hear these guys. I listen to some of these comedy shows and stuff, and it's like they're missing that part. They're missing the over the top, let's say whatever ridiculousness.
Well, it's funny. If it's funny, make a joke about it.
I mean, what's funny? Funny is what you do in your house when you make a mistake. Like, opening the door into your forehead. Yeah, I did that the other day.
Or breaking a window over your head at work.
That was hysterical.
It hurt a little, but it was funny.
It might have hurt you, but okay. So let me tell that story. So
Go ahead. We've got a few minutes.
Yeah,
left.
we had a few minutes. So we one of our our old job. We were working in the shop, and somebody had broken the window from before we had ever worked there, and so we were.
How did they break the window?
They discharged a weapon through it. Like a noob. Like a noob.
Like a straight up noob.
He picked up the gun that was sitting on the counter, didn't check it.
No. Forget about didn't check it. He picked up the gun off the counter and pulled the trigger.
Yeah. He just pulled the trigger.
Like a noob.
Yeah.
You know who does that?
Stupid people.
The first time I ever heard of that, of someone picking up a gun and discharging it like that, was someone from another country who had never actually seen a gun.
Right.
They picked it up and pulled the trigger. So, continue. So the window's broken.
And so we were going to get the window fixed because we had a piece of wood in there.
No, we were putting the piece of wood in.
We were putting the piece of wood in, taking the window out.
It was winter time.
It was winter, and we needed... anyway. So somebody let go of the window and wasn't paying attention or something.
Yeah.
And the window fell out and slammed on Nick's head and shattered the window.
But I have a really hard head.
It was so funny. It was so funny. I can't even right now. I just can't even.
You just can't even right now?
I just can't even right now. It was just funny. I guess you had to have been there.
I think what was even funnier was when we ultimately replaced the window. We replaced the window with the wrong size glass. And it almost happened again, and I was standing there, and it almost fell on my head again. And we all got a good laugh out of it almost falling on my head again. Right?
Right.
So, anyway,
are we? I think we're done. Are we at the end? Really close.
I think so. You want to get some tacos after this?
Tacos.
You want to go get some delicious tacos?
Moose tacos.
I love tacos.
See, I can't do that.
Tacos are so delicious. It's because you're a hoser.
Hey, hoser.
Hey there, hoser. Hey. You want some tacos?
Hey, so this has been Podbean?
This is Pod Bros.
Pod Bros.
It's the Canadian accent's okay, but lately I've been doing the Boston accent, and I feel my voice dropping into it. So I'm just gonna do the Boston accent with Mark and Lisa. All right, guys, we're doing the Boston accent now, and we're gonna finish up this Pod Bros Productions. It's Sound Bros Productions over here, Pod Bros, and it's fun, we're just here talking, we're over here talking. We get some pizza and tonic, it's fun stuff, over here. Mark and Lisa is here, And we're on iTunes, gonna be on Spotify, on Google Play. Eventually we'll get there. Anyway, so here we are. It's Pod Bros, Podbean. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? We just sitting there talking with our hands, sitting around, driving a car.
I can't. I can't breathe.
I hope you learned something today, because if you didn't, you're an idiot.
No, that is not how the ending statement goes. If you're going to do it, you got to do it right.
Yeah, I don't do it with the Boston accent. That's how you do it in Boston. You friggin' idiot. Sitting over there like a dope, just doing nothing. Look at that blank look on his face. He's just like, duh. Look at this guy. Look at it. Look at him. Look at him. You can't even look at him. You're laughing so hard at me.
I can't. Oh my gosh.
Anyway, this is Pod Bros.
That is the longest you've done that. And it just gets better.
This is Pod Bros, a production of Sound Bros Productions.
If you're not learning, you're dying. And if you're not laughing, figure out why.
Stay alive.